Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, and welcome to this afternoon session. I hope we are all ready with our books so that we can get going.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, any doubts in any portion that we have done so far? Anybody with any doubt? Anything you want to ask, or I go ahead? Any queries? Anything you wish to know, or I can just start ahead. Anyone?
No, ma'am, no doubts.
No doubt so far. Great. So I think we can begin. And who's taking us ahead today?
Ma'am, we will start from the line 33.
All right, 33.
May I read, ma'am?
Please.
I have with such provision in mine art,
Go on.
so safely ordered that there is no soul,
Go on.
no, not so much perdition as an hair bitted to any creature in the vessel.
All right, we'll take that first break here. Now, yesterday, you remember Prospero was trying to make Miranda feel better by saying, on the previous page, he had already said that um, be collected, no more amazement, tell your piteous heart that there is no harm done. Right, he had already told us much earlier, he had told Miranda this much earlier. Miranda somewhere did not believe all this. And she kept on crying and she kept on crying. So here Prospero is now telling us little further that what does he mean by, why does he want Miranda to be collected? Why does he want Miranda to wipe her tears? You remember yesterday he said wipe your tears. So why does he want that Miranda should wipe her tears? He says reason is because I have with such provision in my art. He's talking about his magical powers, and he says that definitely you did see the direful spectacle, you did see that the ship was dashed to pieces, you did hear them cry. You remember all this? So he says all that was right, indeed all that happened, and indeed all that I have done. The ship has been dashed to pieces, people were crying, and the ship has maybe has sunk or whatever. But he is telling us something very important here, that he says in my art, in my magic, I have provided a provision. I have made a little discount. I have made a little discount. I already foresaw, I had planned everything. Indeed, the tempest you saw, you are very right, I have created it. Prospero says that he has created it. But he says, when I created that storm, I already had done my planning. It was not just at random that I said, let there be a storm, and then there was a storm, and then I didn't know what to do, and then I thought, oh my God, look, people are dying. He says, no, my dear. When I created that storm, I had already planned every step. Oh, really? Great. I'm sure Miranda must be saying, oh my goodness me, Father, she doesn't speak, but this must be the thought in her mind. Maybe you and I will have the same thing. Oh my goodness, Prospero, you mean to say you actually planned that tempest and you planned steps also, what will happen, what will not happen? Oh my goodness. So, she's listening. All right, Father, let me hear more. So he says to Miranda that he already planned, he had a provision, he had planned all about the tempest. He had planned how much magic he will use, and so safely ordered. And he says, I ordered safety. Already I ordered safety. Hello, come again. Prospero, what are you saying? You mean to say there is a storm, ship is getting dashed to pieces, and you say that there is safety? I don't know. They don't match. They don't match. Maybe even Miranda would like to know this. That I mean, ship is getting dashed to pieces, and then you say that you have planned safety. Okay, let me hear more. Let's hear more. What is he trying to say? He says, yes, I have created that storm. Yes, the ship you saw has been dashed to pieces, but so safely ordered. But in everything, there is still safety. Amazing. Let's hear more. That, how much safety? How much safety, Prospero? Relax, Miranda. Hear me. So much safety that not a soul, not even one soul will be harmed. What? What? Did you hear it right, class? What is Prospero just said?
Yes, ma'am.
What has he just said?
Not single soul will be harmed.
Do,
Harmed.
do you believe this? If you are Miranda, do you believe this?
No, no.
Very
Difficult to
difficult,
believe,
very
ma'am.
difficult, very difficult to believe. But then, since we are the daughter, and if I say Miranda, then we are the daughter, and then we end up believing our father. But difficult. He says, not even one soul, not even one soul will be harmed. No. So Miranda must be saying, wait, soul? Not even perdition of a hair. Not even, this is too
Yes.
many. Not even one single strand of hair would be harmed. Really? With the ship dashing to pieces? Well, Prospero says that there is no soul. There's a dash. Yes, he says, yes, I know, Miranda, you're very surprised. But yes, no, not so much perdition as an hair. Not even a single hair would be harmed. Right? No destruction will be there. It may look like destruction, but there will be no destruction. You mean to say there will be something like refraction? You know, with apparent depth and real depth, the pen seems to be higher than lower. You know, you remember when you put pen in water,
Yes, ma'am.
there is something called
Yes, ma'am.
apparent,
Yes, ma'am.
apparent.
Refractive index.
Yes.
In
So
physics.
physics, apparent depth. So he means to say that the destruction is apparent. It looks like destruction to anyone who sees it, but he says, since
But it's not.
I am the one who created that storm, he's acknowledging it, he's accepting it. So believe me that because I am the one who has brought that storm, I am the one who created that storm by my magic, but in that magic, I put up a clause. I was very careful that not a single soul, not even perdition of hair, बाल भी बांका नहीं होगा, even hair, to any creature in the vessel, not a single person will be harmed. Do we have any choice but to believe him? Well,
Only believe him.
let's believe him at the moment because we have no proof. Wait till we meet all those people and then we will find out what is it. But as of now, we can only sit and listen to what he has to say. Right, please read on. Let's see what he says. Bitted to any creature, not a single creature in that vessel, in that ship. No harm has come on anyone. Difficult to believe, but are you willing to believe? I am willing to believe. Let's believe. Let's see what he has to say. Please move on.
Let's see.
Yeah, true.
Which thou heardest cry, which thou sawest sink, sit down. May I proceed, ma'am?
Yeah, one more line left for my
For
children.
thou must know, no, for
No,
thou must now know further.
right. So he says, not a single person has been harmed. In fact, not even, mind the words, perdition of hair of any creature. Remember that. That much of guarantee he is giving that not even hair has been harmed. Yes, she must have said, she must have said, but I heard them crying. I saw them sing. He says, yes, you may have you may have heard their cry. Yes, you heard them cry. They were shouting. You saw them sink. You saw the ship sink. And it seemed from a distance that they are drowning. But your father is telling you, Miranda, that no harm, not even to a single soul. And how much? How much safety? That even the single hair has not been harmed. Oh, I am sure Miranda is maybe kind of maybe making a face. She just could be making a, you know, go on. I don't believe it. You're talking, you're just making some stories. I don't believe you. Maybe she gives that. So he says, Miranda, my daughter, it's like holding from here and saying, Miranda, sit down. Why don't you sit? Maybe she was standing. So he says, why don't you sit? Sit. Please sit because I have something more to tell you. I have something more to tell you. So, you can't just stand. Why don't you just sit? You just sit here, you sit, and then be comfortable and listen to what all I have to tell you. I hope you're all seated comfortably, class 11.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
है ना?
yes, ma'am.
So that we can all listen to what Prospero has to tell us, because it seems something unbelievable is coming in. He says ship is dashed to pieces, but not a soul harm. Let's actually, let's all ears, be alert and listen, and let's hear what interesting story he has to tell us. Take us. For thou must now know further. You remember, this is the line in continuation of which line earlier? This line you can connect with which line earlier? For you must now know more. This line you can connect with which other line, which he had spoken earlier?
Ma'am, I should inform thee further.
Exactly. Before that also, very good, very good, very good. That I should inform thee further. He had already told us that I have to tell you something more. Even before that, he had said something about in the same connection. He had raised the curiosity that there is something else. You don't know me well. What was that line?
Art ignorant of thou art not knowing of whence I am.
Very true. He had
I
said,
should inform you.
yes, very right. So he says that, oh, you actually do not know about yourself and you do not know anything more about myself. When Prospero is saying, he says that, Miranda, you do not know much about yourself and much about myself. And I think then he says that I must tell you, I think I should inform thee further. Then he had said that uh, the time has come, I think that I should do this. And now he says, sit down. and now I will tell you further. आज 3 बार बोल दिया उन्होंने that you don't know earlier lines number 21, you are ignorant of who you are, you are ignorant of who I am, so I have to tell you more. Number 2, uh, I should inform thee further, and now thou must definitely know further. I am decided today, I have decided my mind, I have decided, I'm determined that aaj to main, I will tell you everything that you should be knowing. So today he says, that means that maybe there were times when he had been wanting to tell Miranda many things, but something or the other happened. Kabhi kabhi hota hai na? You want to tell your mother something. You say, Mummy. Mommy says, huh, Mummy. Mummy, बोलो, I have so much of cooking to do. बोलो क्या कहना है? कुछ नहीं बताओ. नहीं, I think I'll tell you later. अच्छा, doesn't matter. Has it ever happened?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
है ना? See the emotions that we study in literature, whether in poem, whether in play, or whether in prose. They are all part of our life. That's why they are in your course. That's why the English is compulsory, because these are the emotions which all of us go through. Hannah, so I think Prospero is trying to say that I had been wanting to tell you something, but something or the other happened. Maybe when I started telling you, something happened and I couldn't tell you. Or when I started telling you, I felt, nahi, इनको समझ नहीं आएगा. Sometimes we don't tell to our mother or father because we feel नहीं, I think गड़बड़ हो जाएगा. They just may not understand and they may get confused and नहीं बताते रहने देते. You want to tell, but you feel they're not ready, they're not prepared, they don't have time, whatever. So same thing here. Prospero is trying to tell us that he had been thinking of telling a lot of things to Miranda, but maybe Miranda was quite small. Maybe he didn't have time. So now thrice he has told us on the same page, Aaj to bataunga. It's like, Mummy, baitho, please sit. I have to talk to you. There's something I have to share with you. Hai na? It's something like that. So now finally he says, my daughter, please sit down. Let's sit and talk. I have removed my magical robe. I've removed my magical garment also. And today we're going to spend time with each other and I will tell you. I hope this part is clear. You've understood their thought system?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Great,
ma'am.
good.
Yes.
Yeah, please take us ahead. Please take us ahead.
Miranda, you have often begun to tell me what I am, but stopped.
Miranda says, yes. Oh, really, father? You really think you're going to tell me something today? Well, because so many times, there have been so many times, you said, Miranda, I have to tell you something, and then you go away. And then you say, Miranda, I have to tell you something, and I say, yes, father, and then you go away. It's like I say, Miranda, and I say, yes, father, please tell. And then you say, no, nothing, maybe some other day. So he says that, she says, I am already waiting to listen to whatever you have to say. It is you who always would stop and not tell me anything. So if today you really want to tell me something, here am I waiting to hear. It is you who has to share. I am ready and waiting. You may think I'm not waiting to listen, but I'm ready to listen. You should have the courage. You should be having the mental status that, are you ready to tell me? Are you ready to tell? Move on.
And left me to a bootless inquisition.
And each time I said,
Concluding,
yes,
stay,
father.
not yet.
And each time you said, Miranda, I have to tell you something. So I said, yes, father, please tell me what, about where, please tell, when will you tell? When I had so many questions to ask, I had so many inquisitions, I had so many questionings, I had so many questions to ask you, but they were all bootless. They were all useless. Because I said, yes, father, tell, what, when, how, what will be done? And you would say, wait, not now. not now. You would stop me and you would say, oh, stay, Miranda, stay. Wait, not now. Maybe some other day. So I had so many queries and I would be so excited and yes, tell father what and all. And suddenly you would say, wait, Miranda. नहीं अभी नहीं बताऊंगा. So, all right. What can I say? So this is what has happened couple of times earlier, that father said, I want to tell you something. And Miranda was all excited, but then all her questions were bootless, were useless because they were not answered, and they were only answered by one line of Prospero, that stay, not now, later. I'll tell you later. So she says, Miranda says, I have been waiting. You decide. You really want to tell me something, and I'm ready. Yeah? Yeah. Let's move on.
Prospero.
Yeah.
The hours now come.
Prospero
The very
says,
minute bids the
yeah. So Prospero says, you are right, Miranda. There were so many times when I wanted to tell you something and you agreed also and you said, yes, father, please tell. I was the one who would stay and I would say, no, wait. But today, at this very time, hour has come. Ab to batana hi hai. Now I will not stop. Today I will not stop. I think today he will not stop because whole of 11A is here and I am also here. So he says, आज तो बता ही देते हैं. है ना? I think we were not there earlier when they both were talking, so he must be thinking, आज तो बहुत लोग आए
yes,
हुए हैं.
ma'am.
आज तो, there are so many people here, he can maybe see us, he's a magical person, he can probably see that बहुत लोग आए हैं. आज तो बता ही देता हूँ. Let me tell all about myself. So the hour has come. Yes, it's 12 o'clock. 11A class has started and the hour has come. The exact time has come now. I must tell everything about me. The very minute, in fact, the time is 12 bajkar what, maybe 12:23.
25.
12:23, 25. So the minute has also come. So I must tell before they go away all about myself and about Miranda. Yeah.
The very minute bids thee ope thine ear.
So in fact, open your ears. So how do you open? There is no lock here that you open. What it means is that be attentive. Open thy,
You concentrate.
concentrate. Very true.
May I proceed, ma'am?
Yeah, please, please, please. When I stop, you can.
Obey and be attentive.
So he says three things. Short question. And I have to see, it's story going on and then there are questions, because ultimately story will not get you marks, but understanding how to answer questions. So I'm asking a short question here. What are the three instructions Prospero gives to Miranda here? What are the three instructions he gives to Miranda here?
To open her ears.
Number one,
Obey.
To obey him and
be
be
obedient.
attentive.
Very good. To obey him. And the
And
third
to be
thing,
attentive.
very attentive, not just by ears, but
Be
by her mind. Attention
Mind.
is all mind, body, mind, eyes, everything. Open the ears is, listen carefully, isn't it? Obey. And third is be attentive. So that's how you get full marks there, because you picked up the
attentive.
right words. You picked up the right words. Are you there with me the whole class? Are you understanding? I'm taking up there for the short questions at the same time also, so that you will know what kind of questions can be asked from us as you step into your written half-yearly examination. Have you got your date sheet?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, right.
Yes, ma'am.
Great. Let's carry on.
Canst thou remember a time before we came unto this cell?
Now he begins with a question. He has a question to ask. He says, tell me, Miranda, Canst. Canst means can you. Canst means can you. So he begins all about telling himself about himself and herself. He says, do you remember? Can you remember anything, any time, any memory before we came into this cell, before of this cell? You know everything about the cell, you know everything about the island, but do you have any memory? You have any kind of a memory before we came to this cell, from before before we came to this cave on this island?
I do not think thou canst, for then thou wast not out 3 years old.
Oh, he says, what a question I'm asking. He said, Miranda, do you remember anything? Miranda, do you remember anything before we came to this cave? And then he said, oh, I am also so silly. What a silly question I'm asking. What a silly question I'm asking. How can you remember anything before you came to this cave? Because you were only 3 years. When we came on this island, you were 3 years old. So how can you remember anything? What a silly question I'm asking. What is the important information we have just got from Prospero's speech? Two,
That Miranda was 3 years old
Miranda was 3 years old
two,
when she
yeah,
came.
two informations.
when they came.
Two informations. Think. One is an easy one, the other one is a little deeper. She was 3 years old is very right. That's very straight. Other. Very simple. Just think a little, it just comes. Have they been living on the island forever?
No,
No, ma'am.
ma'am.
No, ma'am.
So what is the second information? First information that they used to be somewhere
Live
in
on another
some
place.
place. है ना? They used to be at some other place before they came on this island. So that means they don't
Island.
belong to this island. They don't belong to this island, but they have come to this island, which gives us number of questions. Why did they come? Where did they come? कब हुआ? क्यों हुआ? कैसे हुआ? No, छोड़ो नहीं. We need answers, right? So this is what information we have got. Please carry on.
Miranda. Certainly, sir, I can.
Ah, are you amazed?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Why?
Yes,
What a,
ma'am, because she was really young to remember anything, so it's surprising.
you really want to use the word young,
Ma'am, a bit.
Yes, ma'am.
or do you want to use the word really
A
small?
child.
Just a child, isn't it? Yes, you've got the right thing, but I'm just sharing that 3 years. I don't want to call 3 years old. I don't know why people say I'm 2 years old and 3 years old. I think old they should start using at 80 years. No, maybe I
Yes,
can.
ma'am.
Maybe I can use for myself. I'm so many years old. It's understood, but I don't know why people reply like this. Or why the question? How old are you? What a silly question. You should say, how young are you? And the answer should be, I am 4 years young. I am 13 years young. I don't know why this tradition of asking, how old are you? And then the answer is, I am 15 years old. No, I think old can wait. You agree to this? You want to change the way you ask
Yes,
and you
ma'am.
answer?
Yes,
you know, I
Yes,
normally,
ma'am. It should be changed.
it should be changed. It doesn't make sense. So maybe you can, because that's the way I go about it. So I think she was just 3 years, 3 years, and answer Miranda says, yes, I remember. मुझे याद है. Prospero must have said, "What? You really remember?" This is the time. So far, Miranda was surprised by whatever Prospero was saying. Not a soul harmed and this and that. Now, who will be surprised?
Prospero.
Oh,
Prospero.
I am sure Miranda, and look at the way Miranda says, So Prospero says, "Nahi, how will you remember? You were just 3 years. So Miranda says, "Yeah, I surely remember. मुझे तो सब कुछ याद है." Really? Oh, great. So let's hear what Prospero has to say.
Prospero. By what?
By
By
what?
any other house or person?
Let's just stop there. By what? You Prospero's turn to be very surprised, isn't it? And he says, you, by what? You really remember? Okay, tell me what you remember. Tell me what you remember. He's very excited now. He's like a child and he says, याद है, सच में याद है? अच्छा बताओ क्या क्या याद है? I think that's the way we all read. जब हम सोचते हैं मम्मी को तो याद भी नहीं होगा. अच्छा बताओ फिर क्या हुआ था? बोलो बोलो. कुछ नहीं, फिर ये हुआ था, फिर हम आ गए. हाँ, आपको तो याद है. हाँ, why not? So the same thing is Prospero. He's saying, okay, tell me, what do you remember? Let's see what else is he asking.
By any other house or person?
Do you remember any house? Really? याद है? Do you remember any house? Do you remember any other person? यहाँ तो आप और मैं हैं. Do you remember any other person? 3 साल की थी. And she says, तुमको सब याद है तो बताओ. Do you know any other house besides this cave? Because here is the cave. Cave के अलावा भी, do you remember any house? You and me. Do you remember any other person also?
Of anything, the image tell me that hath kept with thy remembrance?
Or if you remember any house, if you remember any person or any other image, kuch aur, any other thing that you may remember which you have stored in your mind and in your memory, then anything that you have in your mind about you, me, house, any other image, any other incident, anything you remember, please tell. I'm waiting to hear from you, Miranda. What is it that you recall? What is it that you remember? Let's hear what Miranda remembers. I think Pele Prospero surprises Miranda, and Miranda, goes, "Oh my God, my father." And now Miranda says, "Huh, it's like now it's the magician father, absolutely stunned by her answer. Let's see what Miranda remembers. Do you believe that she remembers? You want to
Can
believe her?
believe, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, maybe a little memory.
Actually, we have no choice also, isn't it, Prashansa? Because पहले Prospero पता नहीं क्या क्या कह रहे हैं, and we go on believing him. We have no choice. And now Miranda is saying something. So we are all looking at Miranda. तुम भी, oh my God, here father and now the daughter. Both of us are surprising us so much. Anyways, चलो अच्छा है. We enjoy surprises. Let's see.
Miranda. 'Tis far off, and rather like a dream than an assurance that my remembrance warrants.
All right. So she says, it's like it's a little far off. It's like um, very very unclear, very vague. हल्का हल्का कुछ कुछ याद है. I have some very vague memory. I can see some things, I can imagine, I recall, but I don't remember in detail. But I do recall, but not in detail. She said it's far off, it's very distant, very vague, very unclear, like a dream. It's more like a dream that you remember something kuch acha tha, but it's very difficult to remember all the details in a dream that we see when we are sleeping. So she says, what I remember is more like a dream. I don't know whether that's real or not. Uh, have I imagined all that, or did that really happen in my life? I am not assured. It's not an assurance. I'm not sure. But still, I will share with you whatever I recall. And you can tell me, no, 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 all this is imagination. This never happened. So, whatever I recall, I already doubt myself. I already doubt my memory whether all that actually happened also or not. I'm not sure. It's more like a dream than any assured, warranted, uh, true thing. But I still will share, and then you can decide whatever it is. Let's see what.
Had I not 4 or 5 women once that tended me?
She says, Father, one thing I remember, first thing that I remember is, I don't know if I'm right or wrong. You'll have to tell me this, that did I not have around 4 and 5 women all around me? She says, I remember there used to be a lot of women around me, who used to take care of me. She says, what I remember is that, there would be one woman here, one woman there. I am very small. And there were a lot of women around looking after me, taking care of me, pampering me. I don't know whether this is right or wrong, Father. You tell me. Let's hear Prospero.
Prospero. Thou hadst, and more, Miranda.
She says, yes, 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 Miranda, you are absolutely right. Hmm. 3 years she was, and Prospero just says, you are absolutely right. Yes, you did have three, nahi, four, nahi, many women. You had lot of women around you. There were a lot of people around you, not only 3 or 4. You had many women around you, Miranda. You have a lovely memory. Whatever you have told just now is bingo, absolutely correct. Wow. Let's hear more.
But how is it that this lives in thy mind?
And then he has a question to ask. He says, लेकिन एक बात बताओ, how do you remember this? I'm very surprised that, I mean, I am really shocked. You really remember that you had all these women around? Tell me, कैसे याद है? Tell me, how do you remember this? How does this live in your mind? How does it still stay in your mind? How do you still have this memory? How come, you have this memory? Yes.
What seest thou else in the dark backward and abysm of time?
And he says, all right, if you remember so much that you had some women around you, then tell me what else? और क्या याद है? What else can you see when you go back in a flashback, when you're going back in a flashback, bubble, 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 bubble. How would you draw this, in the drawing? A person thinking and then a cloud?
Um, yes, ma'am.
Maybe
A cloud.
maybe a cloud, and a person thinking, and bubble, 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 bubble. So he says, go back into that bubble and tell me what else can you see in your abyss of time. What else can you see in the past, from the past, right? Since we have just a minute left, so I'm thinking is that we will just finish with this speech and then take it up later. Of course, tomorrow we'll be meeting again. So he says, if you remember anything, anything else from the past, please tell me, please tell me. And then what is one more question that he asked? Last question of the speech.
If thou rememberest